morning. Can you hear me if I don't use the mic? Good in the back? Well, good morning and welcome. I'm happy to present to you this morning. When I asked Director or Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Kristen Fox, I said, so what am I presenting on? Oh, anything you want. So we're presenting on a district overview of what the fine and performing arts have to offer. So starting at the elementary schools, certainly many of you I'm sure are familiar with what goes on here, but then seeing how they all tie in through middle school and through the high school. So we have a few slides, and I'll try to, where am I? I got it. Helps if you turn it on. So a little bit about me. Prior to coming to the district, I joined the district as an administrator in 2008. I worked in Westfield Public Schools for a dozen or so years, and my background is in music. I'm a band director by trade. Music is been in my genes for many years. I have a daughter who's an elementary school music teacher. I have another daughter who's trying to become a music teacher out there on that job market. And I have other kids, more kids than people should be allowed to have. I have children that are also in 6th grade here in district and are also currently involved in music. So we have a lot of music in it. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's not a good thing, because how come we're not practicing and all that sort of stuff. But I've learned from my experience, if they're going to practice, I'm going to let them practice. They have to figure it out on their own. I need them to be committed to do it on their own. And so far, so good. There's some occasions where I'll pick up an instrument, we'll play together, but they're pretty good. So the one thing that I'll start off with is to trust your child and encourage them to practice. But when you hammer them over and over, unfortunately, sometimes it seems to have a negative effect. Yes, you need to encourage them, and you have to really push them to go in the very early stages. But hopefully they find that joy in music, and they're going to want to do it on their own. And if they don't, as long as they're still involved in the program, they actually do figure it out as they progress. So music shouldn't be a stressful thing, and practice shouldn't be stressful. So on the screen right now are just some things that the arts, not just music, but the arts in general, really bring to our children. It's not just about a paintbrush or playing some music or singing in a choir. There are so many things that your children are going to learn in an arts-related class that will go with them for many years to come. I was at the Governor's Award for the Arts a couple weeks ago. Now, we had a student at the high school who was receiving an award, and they played a video, and I tried to get it, but they wouldn't release it, and it had a whole bunch of famous people that are non-musicians that had an arts background. And there are many that we perhaps have heard of, Einstein, a whole bunch of people that have this strong connection to the arts. Never went into the arts as a career, but looked at the arts as something to help them think critically, to learn to have a passion for something, and to persevere and see things through. So those are all the things that we really see in the arts classroom. And every day when I'm walking through, whether it's on the kindergarten level or an AP class at the high school, we see all of those traits going on, and that's a great quality for our kids to have. So it all starts at the elementary school. So on the screen, pretty much shows you what we offer. So from a music standpoint, we offer band in grades 4 and 5, strings education, orchestra education. We actually can start in 3rd grade, and a lot of times I get the question, how come we can start in 3rd grade for strings, but we can't do it for band? The reason for that is string instruments can come in various sizes. When your students get large, get old enough, and they mature, they go on a full size. It's a 4/4, a full size instrument. They can go to 3/4, half size, quarter size. So children can start very young when they're ready to begin, as soon as there's an instrument that will meet their size. So strings, we can start them in 3rd grade. And chorus, we also start in 3rd grade, so choral program is 3, 4, and 5. The asterisk refers to the children will receive a weekly ensemble for rehearsal. So if you have children in the program, you're getting them to rehearsal before school, 7:45. We thank you for that. So 7:45 to 8:30 is their full ensemble rehearsals. 3rd grade, we don't do that. That doesn't start until 4th grade. And the children will get one weekly pull-out lesson. Your child should only be coming out of class once a week. Now, if there's something going on in the class and your child shouldn't miss it, you don't want them to miss the class, let's say it's math. that's always the hot topic. So let's say we don't want them to miss math. It's not a problem. The teachers are very flexible. Just let the teacher know. They can reschedule it, and they'll make it work for your child. If your child is coming out for more than one lesson a week, I ask that you please send me an email. Let me know, because that's not what's supposed to happen. We set it up on a rotating basis so that the times, I guess it rotates 6 or 7 weeks, and then with a day off here and there, it's really a long period of time before they miss that same time slot each day. Students will receive, all students K through 5 receive a weekly general music class, 50 minutes. Years ago, we used to do 30 minutes in kindergarten and first grade. That seemed to be an appropriate time, but then things changed around. We went 50 minutes for everybody. A little bit like herding cats sometimes, but it's fun. It's an enjoyable time. I think one of my most favorite parts is going to a kindergarten class, whether it's an art class or a music class, and actually sitting with them and joining them on the floor. And they're funny. They're just very, very funny, a little goofy, and that's a good thing. They're having fun, and that's what's important. Oops. So in visual arts, again, just like general music, students will get a 50-minute art lesson once a week. It's general art. They run the gamut, I'm sure. Obviously testament to what's going on in here, but we have our annual art displays throughout the school. So there's a lot of stuff that your children really pump out a lot of artwork, and that continues as the kids continue on. So at the middle school, we continue on with the same music programs, band, orchestra, and chorus, grades 6, 7, 8. So there are grade level ensembles. Like the elementary school, they'll have one weekly ensemble rehearsal. That's not an ideal situation for us. We'd like to see it increase, and that's something we're working towards as we explore different opportunities in scheduling. But we go with our once a week, and that seems to work. They're pulled out of, it's a PE class, it could be a cycle class, it could be a world language class. I'll get to that in a second. So they, again, just like in the elementary school, it's on a rotating basis. I think they do about a 7 or an 8 week rotation. So it goes, so they're not always missing the same time. And the same holds true if they can't be there because they just need to have the academic support for whatever the topic is, stay in class. We want them to stay in class. And then we can reschedule to make it work. Again, the teachers are very flexible. They make it work for your children. I think I got all of that. So I'm asked all the time about additional opportunities at the middle school. So at the elementary school, you have mini units. So sometimes there might be an art offering or a music offering. That's year to year, depending upon the staff, if they want to do something like that. Middle school's no different. There's audition-based groups in both band, orchestra, and choral. Depending upon what the offerings are available for that year, students would audition. And they generally meet after school once a week for that rehearsal. There is an ensemble or two that might meet in the morning, but they don't run on any kind of regular basis. I also put up there performing arts. I should have put it on the previous slide. As you know, if you're involved in music, we do all of our performances in the PAC. Middle school, it continues. We do it there. And middle school has their own auditorium. They have their own stage. But with just over 500 seats, it gets a little too tight. And it's not air conditioned. And the seats are much more comfortable in the PAC. And we got better technology. So we take it all up over to the PAC, and it works out real well. WAMS Expo is an annual event that started a few years back. If you've ever been to the high school and seen a high school art show, the WAMS Expo started in that same vein. So it's an opportunity for teachers to display their students' work. So they have artwork is displayed, but the ensembles also perform, and technology education teachers, and I think it's even branched out. World language, it seems like everybody in the school is involved in something. So it's really, really evolving. It's a nice night. It's just another opportunity for kids to perform. In arts, again, all grade bands have art classes. Your child in 6th grade will receive 2 art cycles. Now, a cycle class goes for 6 weeks. So in 6th grade, they're going to have 2 art cycles in 6th grade. So those 6 weeks in an art, 6 weeks in a tech ed, 6 weeks in a music, 6 weeks all over the place. And then they come back and do another 6 weeks in art. They study 2D drawing, painting, and then the second cycle they get into 3D where they're doing ceramic work and sculpting. And so they use the kilns. they may have an opportunity to use pottery wheels to a certain extent. Grade 7, they'll have one cycle, and again, it's a combination of 2D and 3D work, and they really push the kids along with that. 8th grade, as we're preparing for high school, they'll have the opportunity to select an elective. They don't have as many elective choices at the middle school as they do in high school, but they can certainly choose an art elective. We have 2. The 8th grade art elective, it's real creativity with the name on that one. We keep talking about wanting to change it, but we're like, no, 8th grade art elective. I'm like, okay. Does a lot of the 2D and 3D stuff, just on a grander scale. It's a semester, it's a full year. They'll either have the fall semester or the spring semester, so they have a really good amount of time in which to develop their artwork. Photography. We have a real live working darkroom at the middle school. It was funny, when I first started here, I was approached by the superintendent at the time. We've got to get rid of that darkroom. It just sucks the money out of the district. We are one of a very, very small handful of schools in the state that still keep the traditional darkroom. And we're holding on to it as best we can. And it has infrastructure issues every once in a while because you're working with chemicals, so it really deteriorates. But we see a value in the darkrooms that really teach the child how to start from the very beginning. They do the pinhole box cameras at the middle school. They continue up to the high school on a different level with that. And they're figuring out the chemistry with the chemicals, so there's a lot of tie-ins to math ratios. There's a lot of good things that happen in that photography elective course. So if your child has a strong interest in photography, they won't just learn how to shoot with their phone. They'll actually use an SLR camera. On occasion, they do some stuff with their phones because they all have them. So they're trying to teach them how to do different things with it. Additional opportunities that are available in art consist of the mural crew, the paint crew, and the art clubs. So if you've been to Annan, you'll see some artwork around the walls. There's some older stuff and there's some newer things. So there's a crew that goes around and they pick a wall and that's what they're working on. So they do that. Paint crew, that's associated with the musical that happens at Annan. They take care of painting all the sets and preparing all that sort of stuff. And then there are some art clubs, and again, they run based on teachers' desire to offer a club. Just like the mini unit, it's their version at the middle school. New next year, we're very happy about this. We're actually adding dance and theater to the middle school curriculum. It's a requirement of the state. It's been around for a few years, and we've been looking to do it. We finally have it going in next year. So we're actually going to start with 7th grade and have a dance cycle. Every child, give or take a few, will get dance in 7th grade. Yes, I know. I'm going to have them in 7th grade too. And with a boy and a girl, the girl's excited, the boy's like, are you kidding me? But the kid flosses, whatever that is, nonstop at home, or at least he used to, because I don't think that's a thing to do anymore. So we're making sure that as we're finished writing the curriculum this summer, it's going to be user-friendly, it's going to be student-friendly. It's about getting them to move a little bit. We're not looking to make the next greatest ballet dancer and teach them how to tap dance. That's not the purpose. Again, it's 6 weeks. You can only get so much done in a 6-week class. We're trying to do a little bit more than square dancing that happens in the phys ed class, because that's such a popular thing to do. How many of you kids square dance at all? All right, good. All right, well, I'll let the PE people know that. So that's important. So again, we're creating, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be some downtime, it's supposed to be a little bit of relaxation to the point where we're not stressing over dance. We're going to make the kids feel a little comfortable, we hope. We're offering an 8th grade elective in dance and theater. Now, I'll talk about our high school program shortly, but having a high school program, it never made sense to me why we didn't have something to offer prior to coming to the high school. You want to build a program, you have to start it someplace. But our biggest challenge there is going to be a facility. We don't have a dance studio at the middle school. We're coming up with some options. There isn't a day that goes by in the last couple of weeks that I meet with Mrs. Hudock, and I'm like, so where's it going? Leave me alone, Fackelman, we'll find it out. And I'm like, I need to know. So we're working through all those things. The theater elective, again, both theater and dance in 8th grade are semester offerings. The dance class will get into a little bit more in depth. These are going to be the kids that have an interest in dance. It's not for everybody, So like some of the electives, your child may want it, depending upon how the schedule fits. They may not get it. We're hoping they all get it, and that's our goal. With both dance and theater, they'll be diving into the curriculum similar to the high school. So it's going to be a good step from the middle school curriculum to get the kids prepared to go into the high school. They will have a recital for the dance, and we're actually going to hold it at the high school with the high school dance. We have a dance showcase that the high school students do twice a year. We already have some middle school students involved in some of the activities, so it just makes sense. We can do the performance up at the high school. It's set up better for it, and it'll be a nice collaboration between the two teachers that'll be working there. The theater 8th grade electives, we're taking our teacher from the high school, we're increasing her schedule, so she'll be working with the middle school students. If you've been to a high school musical or a fall play production, they're really outstanding the last few years. We're very proud of the program, the direction that it's going. So it'll be nice to have that connection there. So they'll be doing acting techniques and all that kind of stuff. The question I've gotten asked before is, oh, will she be directing the middle school play? Has no tie to the middle school play at all, the musical. However they do it, and they've been doing it, it's the way it's going to stay. From a curricular standpoint, I oversee what happens during the day in the classroom, with the exception of one or two other after-school or outside-of-school activities. That's building-based stuff, and I don't really mess with that, because once I get involved and people say, oh, it's curriculum. No, it's not, but sometimes it might be. So that all stays the same over there. And so hopefully what Mrs. Harvey will be doing with the students at Anna will only add to what they're doing on the stage for their productions. Uh-oh. All right, so that's dancing here. So moving up to the high school. Everything counts now. It's a high school. Once 9th grade hits, now everything's got to check the boxes and everything else. So we have a number of classes that are offered. These are a sampling of what's offered in music and performing arts and the visual arts. There are more courses. I just didn't put them all up there. I have a chart coming up in our program studies. The high school website, the counseling page will show you exactly all the courses and all descriptions. You don't really need to worry about it right this moment, but some people want to know what lies ahead. We have a very, 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 very active arts department at the high school, and we're super proud of what's there. We do have all complements of music. We certainly have a very, very large art department. Dance and theater is there as well. So to speak about our music, again, the trifecta, band, orchestra, and chorus. We have challenges in the music department in the sense that we want to get everybody in, and it's hard. Some schools, they do really well in band, or they do really well in orchestra and chorus, and band is the weak one, and that's typical. We excel, I'm happy to say, in all three areas. We're very proud of our music program, and the music teachers all work very well together. So we offer our traditional classes. There are a couple different levels of band classes. From the concert band, we actually branched off to a 9th grade band class, and then we also have a concert band class that's for 10th, 11th kids that don't want to go into wind ensemble. Wind ensemble is an honors level course that is by audition. So students get into wind ensemble. They're playing a different level of music. If you're an 11th grader, you don't want to audition, you just want to stay in band, you're going to be in concert band, and that's fine. So they do things together. We have a large number of students that just don't want the aggravation of an audition, and they just want to go and play, and they should, and that's what it's there for. And it's a great class, it's a good sized class, and it works out well. Orchestra, 2-level classes for orchestra. We have what's called the chamber orchestra. It's primarily for students in 9th and 10th grade, and then we have the symphony orchestra is in grades 11 and 12. So if you have a child that's been playing for a bunch of years and they get to high school, well, I want them to be in symphony orchestra. That's great, but they're going into chamber orchestra. Well, no, they should go in chamber orchestra. It's a training, and that's the way the program has been set up, and it's been working great. We used to do 2 separate performances, a chamber performance and a symphony performance. We've actually been combining both groups the last several years, and they put a monstrosity amount of kids on the stage, and it's great. So whether you're in chamber or you're in symphony, you're getting exposed to high quality music. The big difference with symphony is we add in some wind students from the wind ensemble. Again, these are the audition students, and they create what's called a symphonic orchestra. So it's not just strings, it's got the woodwinds and brass and percussion included as well. Outside of performance classes, we have a music theory class, an enjoyment of music, which is pretty much a history class. So if you like history, it might be enjoyment of music. If you don't like history, it's not so enjoyable, because it's deep. It goes from Gregorian chant to Beethoven, I think. So it's a music history course. We're considering looking to see what other offerings we want to add in that area, but we're also careful not to make so many offerings that we kind of thin our herd with the performance classes. So we're being very careful with that. And then of course dance and theater. Dance, there are 3 different levels for dance. Dance 1 and Dance 2 are semester courses. Dance 3 is a full year course. Those are the kids that are looking to go into dance as a career or heavy duty in performance, and so they get a full year exposure to that. Students that have dance experience before they get to high school, they can audition and pass out of Dance 1 and go into Dance 2, and that's not a problem, so we make that happen for the kids. Theater, there are 2 levels, Theater 1, Theater 2. Our goal down the road is to create a musical theater course, to have that there as well, but again, the same thing, we don't want to thin the herd too much, so we're very careful. In the arts, we have a lot of arts. I have 7 art teachers at the high school, and they're all busy. We do everything from a very basic class, it's called Art Explorer. I just want to get my graduation requirement done and I don't want to go crazy. Then that's the one you want to take. 2 different levels of photography, actually 3 levels of photography. 1 and 2 are semester courses. Photography 3 is a full year, and it's actually this year we're going into an AP option for that. Students don't have to do the AP, but they can. So that's going to be there. We have, again, a full-size working darkroom that I've been told rivals some university darkrooms. We have, I think, 18 or 19 enlarging stations. So it's a good sized room. Kids like the darkroom because I guess it's dark. I don't know. They like the dark. Our AP students do fantastic. We've had some wonderful results with AP over the years. We actually have a student's artwork that is used in the AP test. So that's huge. That's a great honor to have. Our art students get involved in a lot of art showcases and a lot of gallery displays. I think last year the students took in scholarship awards about $1.2 million in scholarship opportunities. So our annual art showcase is coming up at the end of the year. It's the second week in June. Please come by the high school. It's phenomenal, the work that you'll see. So we have a lot of stuff. We have two levels of ceramics. So the kids will throw. They'll be on the wheels throwing. We have 3 kilns in the back. They do a lot of work there. So it's a great class for really good hands-on. If you have that child that needs to have that hands-on, ceramics is a great class for them. All right, so this is directly from the program of studies, and it's small, but I just want to give you a little representation of if you went onto the counseling site. These are all the courses and how they relate to each other with prerequisites. There is a graduation requirement. Your child needs to take 5 credits of any combination in the arts to get their credit. So it's 2 semester courses, 1 full year course. If your child is in an ensemble and they're going to take it for 4 years, they'll only get credits counted 1 time, and that's typical. You can't double dip, triple, or quadruple dip. Outside of the school, we have our marching band program that we're very proud of, and there's also a jazz band program similar to what's going on at the middle school. They actually combine the high school and middle school combined for a concert once a year, just a total jazz concert. So we have enough courses for everybody to meet the requirements and have some interest. Visual arts, same thing. All the courses are there, and there are quite a few courses with prerequisites to get into certain courses. Everything on that first row are all courses that you do not need to have a prerequisite. So there are enough courses for someone to get started in the art world. And then, of course, in performing arts, dance, and theater, as I mentioned, our shows, they're their websites. You can find out a little bit more. We'll be posting this presentation online for you as well. Outside of school, you have the Ridge Drama Club, which is pretty much, they're responsible for the 2 annual productions. They also they started doing a drama showcase, one in the fall, one in the spring, to again showcase their talents. They do little skits. In Ridge Dance, they have the dance team. They have what's known as Dance Collective. Those are competitive groups. They offer master classes. Our teacher is very, very good at bringing people in, professionals in, to offer master classes. They've done everything from hip hop to tap to you name it, and then they make that part of their annual showcases. So it's a great opportunity. And that's all I have for you. So one of the things that we're trying to do in the district is we're really getting a push with social media. Yeah, we want your kids off social media, but we want you on social media. You all know it's probably easier to do that than to do those Friday folders, because Paul puts too much in there as it is. So I have a couple links. I have a Twitter account. I talked to some high school kids. I said, yeah, I'm going to do Twitter. They're shaking their heads. It's like, we don't do Twitter. Those are for, like, people like you. What do you guys do? Instagram. Well, at least Instagram this week. So we're at Ridge Pack or Ridge Pack. And so what I do is we try to post photos and events that are going on. I'll take a picture at a concert. We'll post upcoming events that are going on. And we try to put some good news on there. So if students receive an award or something great that's going on, we'll throw it on there. I've also gotten tagged with putting snow closures and those types of things on there. I'm on that email very early on those days when it happens. So we try to put it out there when you can. So if you want to follow, that's great. I'm trying to get more followers than the superintendent. I told him I have way more appeal than he does. So we'll see what happens. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'll take them now. Yes? Oh, wait. We're like in the Everglades with these fan boats. I'm sorry. Thank you for mentioning that. We started, as you may know, you may not know, and this isn't my department, that's why I don't really talk about it as much. We started an ABA class for music that is run through the special education department. We branched out to offer classes for these select students in dance, and that's been a phenomenal program. This year we actually created a class to work with the students in visual arts, and it's great because the teacher that teaches it is our AP art teacher. So she goes from teaching AP art to teaching a very, very different level. So we work closely with special education, and when we can, we send teachers out. One teacher in particular, she has a background in special education and working with students, so we do that. I'm sorry? As far as I know, I think special education may have something in there, but I really don't know yet. Okay. Yes?
So I know you're in charge of curriculum for the specific arts classes, but I'm curious if you have interaction, especially at the elementary school level, to thread the arts throughout social studies or English, or if you are working with those teachers as well to develop those opportunities.
For years, I shared an office on the curriculum bullpen. There were a few of us in an office together, and we had cubes, so we all heard everybody's business all the time. So we spent a lot of time looking to see how we can collaborate and what threads we can weave through with each other. So we do that on that level, and so we do have a lot of ideas. We're always looking for suggestions, so if there's something that, throw it at me, that's fine. So,
Improv classes.
I'm sorry?
Improv.
Improv. That's called public speaking.
Well.
No, it would be great.
Yeah.
There was a push many years ago to incorporate public speaking in the middle school, and the district I was in jumped on it real fast. And they said, we're going to create a public speaking, wasn't a cycle, it was for a quarter. And so every kid in 6th grade and 7th grade was going to get this public speaking class. State never went through with it, but the district kept it. And we made it part of the music ensembles class. So as a band director, I would see my students 4 days a week, but on the 5th day, they'd go to public speaking. So we were able to create a rotation, and it worked. And there are a lot of great ideas we have. It's time, it's space, it's scheduling. So yeah, they'll get improv in the theater classes for sure. Maybe at some point we can get theater as a cycle class, and we can kind of weave in a public speaking kind of component. We're trying to see how maybe that can happen down the road. So we are in conversation. Thank you.
And I will say, at the teacher level, our teachers, our general classroom teachers, and our special area teachers are always articulating ways that they can thread together projects that they're doing in art, in music, as it relates to what they might be doing in social studies, what they might be doing in science or math as well. So we do spend a lot of time at the teacher level in Cedar Hill, and I imagine in the other buildings as well.
Yeah, tagging on to that, I can tell you at the high school, in the art department, there are many opportunities. Every year we have our ceramics teacher joins forces with a science teacher. And they do this collaboration, and they do their show at the environmental center. So we do those types of things, and they do definitely happen at the middle school, certainly on a different scale. So trying to fit all their coursework in and try to get those collaborations. So the nice thing about the arts folks, the arts people, they're by nature pretty collaborative. They have to be, because as an arts teacher, we're always trying to find our niche to fit in amongst all the heavy-duty academics. So if you're not collaborative, sometimes you get stepped over. So they really have learned how to be collaborative with everybody. So there are a lot of those opportunities. Okay, anyone else? Well, thank you very much. I expect to see my following to go up a lot more than Mark Carrier. Thank you again. We'll have this posted as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great day.